Good morning, everyone. I call to order the June 20th, 2023 meeting of the Las Virgenes-Malibu COG Governing Board. Will the Executive Director please call the roll?
Paul Grisanti,
Here.
Kelly Honig,
Here.
Penny Sylvester,
Here.
Eniko Gold, President Gold.
Here. Thank you, Terry. Item number 2, approval of the agenda. Does anyone have any changes to the agenda? I don't see anyone. If not, can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Kelly. Will the Executive Director please call the roll?
Paul Grisanti,
Yes.
Kelly Honig,
Yes.
Penny Sylvester,
Yes.
President Gold.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Public comment period. Are there any members of the public who would like to address the governing board? Okay, I don't hear or see anyone. Terry, did we receive any public comments electronically?
No, we did not.
Okay. Since we have no public comments, we will go to item number 4, consent calendar. Consent calendar items will be approved in one motion unless removed for separate discussion or action. Would anyone like to remove an item from the consent calendar? Nope. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Will the Executive Director call the roll?
Paul Grisanti,
Yes.
Kelly Honig,
Yes.
Penny Sylvester,
Yes.
President Gold.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, we are on to our information items. I'd like to ask Terry to give his Executive Director's report.
Happy to. As part of my executive director's report, while I'm fumbling through to pull it out, I would just like to point out an item that I put on the consent calendar at the last minute. Rob DeVoe from Malibu, who's been our rep for a long time on the Metro Tech, couldn't continue, and so it's difficult with our small staffs, but Tatiana Holden, the Assistant Public Works Director in Calabasas, agreed to do that, and it's always nice to have the representation. So rather than putting it on later as an action item, I just stuck it in there to keep things moving. But hold on one second. So I'm pleased to report that we had our first meeting of the Hazard Mitigation Plan Working Group to kick things off with the consultant. That went very well. All cities were represented and we had a good discussion. The consultant is continuing to reach out individually with the cities and expects to have the hazard mitigation plan draft wrapped up by the end of the year. So I will schedule that for the November COG meeting for an overview before it gets submitted to Cal OES. The usual process is that it gets submitted to Cal OES, they make comments, then that comes back and the working group meets with the consultant to address any comments that are included. And then the plan gets finalized and then gets resubmitted to Cal OES and then to FEMA. Of course, all the cities will have a chance to take a look at it individually at their council meetings too, but that'll be probably the beginning of 2024 for that part. So we're on track for that. I included a brief about the Maria Loya versus City of Santa Monica that Councilmember Bazagian was watching or is watching with interest with regard to city districts. So I just put that little blurb in there for you to take a look at if you were interested. The RFP for the COG's Regional Smart Cities Fiber Network was released on June 8th. It was placed on Planet Bids. Excuse me. I appreciate the Agoura Hills Public Works staff helping me with that, since the COG does not have an account at Planet Bids. It doesn't really make sense financially to have one. So that's all set. I expect to have the proposals by the end of the month, with interviews if needed the beginning of July, and then to the governing board on the 18th of July for approval. So, I'm excited about that. I participated in the Cal Cities legislative webinar or so ago, and I'm continuing to work with the COG cities that are outstanding on the governing board voting. And let's see, I think that's pretty much, the rest is not as critical, and you can take a look at that, but I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have them.
Thank you so much, Terry. Do we have any questions for Terry or Terry's executive report? I don't see anyone. I do have a question, Terry. I would like to know if you know when the homelessness grant contract will be finalized. When will the county?
Yeah, the county is, the statement of work and everything has been finalized. It's just going through the county council right now, and that always takes a long time with the county. So I expect to have it, and I will put it on the agenda for next month.
Oh, okay, thank you. So let's move on to our next item, which is public safety legislative and agency partner updates. I'd like to ask our Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department Representative Captain C2. Do we have anything to report? Is Captain C2 with us? I don't see her. Do you see her, Terry?
I do not.
Okay, then let's move on to our Los Angeles County Fire Department. Do we have Chief Smith or somebody else from the department? I don't see any representative from them. League of Cities, I see Jeff, you're here for sure. Welcome, good morning. Will you provide an update on what is included in our agenda? I know there was a lot of things to discuss, and would you like to highlight anything?
Yeah, so I did include a much larger look at the Oops, where'd you go? I was a much larger look at the legislation this morning in your packet. That document also, I did send an email to most of the board members on Thursday afternoon as well, with more information on sort of an updated list. Also, I will note that the state budget bill was passed on time. We still expect a number of trailer budget bills to be passed throughout the summer. Those are where the real budget funds are implemented. So the big budget bill is really just a framework of the amounts they're spending and what subjects. We'll certainly have more information on that on Wednesday in our newsletter. Also, I want to make mention, we're highlighting 3 different bills in the coming week, maybe week and a half with action alerts. And they're on this list, but SB 584 Limon would add a 15% transit occupancy tax to short-term rentals. We feel that is far too high, considering the average across the state for TOT is 10%, and those funds go directly to local cities. We have suggested that the author should try to tax the proprietors, or I guess the owners of these short-term rentals, rather than the tenants, just to separate that tax base a little bit. Certainly, if the average is 10%, and I know and it's higher in many of your cities, but adding another 15%, that just gets into a much larger and it begins to pair and really narrow what cities can do to raise their own TOT in the future if they should wish. Paul, looks like you're raising your hand before I move on. Sure.
So am I correct in assuming that this is in addition to whatever transfer occupancy tax we already have?
Correct. Yes.
And where is the money going to go?
This would go to a state fund, so it's not being spent locally either. It's going to a state fund that would help for affordable housing dollars. We agree with the fact that we need more affordable housing dollars. We just don't think this is the way to raise it.
Yeah. Okay.
Quickly, the other two I want to mention, AB 504 Reyes for state and public employees. This is essentially sympathy striking. We are going to be sending an action alert on that as well. We are opposed to that measure. And then AB 1484, which I've sent out previously an action alert. We're going to send it again. That's temporary public employees would essentially put those temporary employees in the same bargaining unit as your permanent employees. So all three of those bills, you'll be getting more on me in the next week and a half. And we are going to actually be holding a webinar to discuss SB 584, the TOT. I'm seeing some email chatter that may actually be early next week, but it'll be this week or early next week. And then other than that, I'm happy to let the rest of my report stand unless there are other questions.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Do we have any questions for Jeff? No? Okay, thank you so much, Jeff, for the updates, and we'll be on the lookout for those action alerts. Next on our list is updates from our legislative staff and agency partners. I'd like to note that Rachel from SCAG included an update in our agenda, which can be found on page 20 to 23. Are there any other representatives or agency partners who would like to speak?
Yeah, I can briefly give an update from Senator Allen's office. Good morning, everyone. Always good to be here with you, and I always appreciate the opportunity to go after Jeff since he gives such a thorough overview of what's going on in the legislature. But as he mentioned, the legislature did meet its constitutional deadline to pass a budget framework. There will be a budget bill junior that will be passed in the coming weeks that will have more specific details on exactly how money is going to be doled out in the coming fiscal year. And one of the things that we will be looking for in that bill, and that's currently being worked out in the negotiations, is member district requests, and that includes the request that Senator Allen put in for the city of Calabasas to help the city acquire the parcel of land at 47, I believe it's 4713 Las Virgenes Road. So we should have an answer on what state money will be coming down to help acquire that land soon. At the beginning of this month, we also had the House of Origin deadline, which was the deadline for any bill to pass out of the House that it was introduced in. So Senator Allen had 17 bills that made it off the Senate floor and are headed over to the Assembly this year. A couple highlights that I know I've talked about with all of you before: our big water rights bill. That would give the State Water Resources Control Board greater authority to vet water rights claims that predate the Water Commission Act of 1914. That bill did pass, so we're excited about that and now working to get it through Assembly committees. And our big climate resiliency bond that would go on the ballot next year, allocating over $4.3 billion for climate resiliency projects up and down the state, including drought resiliency projects like Las Virgenes Water District's Pure Water Project. That's exactly the type of project we're hoping to get some funding for through this bond measure. Wildlife connectivity projects, land acquisition in the Santa Monica Mountains, all of that would be on the table. So we're excited that that made its way through the Senate and is now over in Assembly committee. Not too much else that I have to share. We're pretty much at the height of committee season once again, with all of those bills passing on to the other house. But one other thing I will say, if any of your cities are having 4th of July celebrations, I'm currently filling out the senator's calendar. I know he's planning on attending the Liberty Canyon 4th of July parade in Agoura Hills. I know the city of Calabasas and the city of Westlake Village tend to have fireworks shows. So if there is anything that you would like the senator to attend, please let me know. And actually, one more thing I do want to mention that I did just remember. I know Jeff has talked about this bill a lot. I know a bill of interest to all of you so far this cycle on the Senate side has been SB 423. And that, of course, is a bill that would extend the provisions of the Housing Accountability Act, a bill that creates a ministerial approval pathway at the state level for housing development projects, regardless of what local jurisdictions have to say over those projects. So that bill did pass with bipartisan support through the Senate, but Senator Allen did not support it. And a big reason that he did not support it was the overwhelming feedback we received from our cities in the district in opposition to that bill, including several of the cities represented on this COG. So while that didn't necessarily get the outcome that I know that we were all hoping for, I do want to extend our appreciation again for your work in reaching out to us and making sure that we were aware of where you all stood. That always does play a big role in how Senator Allen ends up voting on these salient pieces of legislation. That's all I have for now. If anyone has any questions, happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Davis. If you don't have any questions, anybody else from our agency partners? Nancy?
I will do a quick update for the other house. On the assembly side, we have all those Senate bills. So if you have not reached out to Jackie on SB 423, please do that so we can hear your voices on the other side. We had 20 bills pass out of our house, and they're over on the Senate floor, not the scented floor. Some of them I have spoken to you about. The big one that's getting a lot of attention is the food expiration labeling bill that has passed over. The Veterans Housing and Homeless Bond is to add more money to a program that we have found as one of the only markers to help in the homelessness efforts these days. That might be taken over by the governor's bond. We will see, but either way, it is moving forward. The preventing labels on cannabis products so they do not appeal to children has also gone over to the other side, a really important bill. One of my favorites is adding the organ donation checkbox on your voters registration. That could make a huge difference in the way we handle that. Locally, we've been working with Caltrans on a lot of different issues, and I want to say that we have a really good partnership going with them, as well as Senator Allen's office. And so if you do have some issues, we would love to hear from you while we have their attention. Also, this Saturday, we will be doing one of our sidewalk sessions. It is in Malibu. And Chief Smith is going to be Jackie's guest. We are meeting at Alfred Coffee, and that's 10 to 12. Does anybody have any questions? All right, that's it for me.
Okay, thank you so much, Nancy. Do we have anybody else from our agency partners or legislative staff?
I don't mean to cut if anybody else is, but this is Sophia Sudani from Supervisor Horvath's office.
Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's doing good after the long weekend. Some updates from our office, including from this last weekend. We've been celebrating Pride throughout this month at LA Pride, at West Valley Pride, and this last weekend, we did an event at Ginger Rogers Beach, an important sanctuary of the LGBTQ community, by painting the lifeguard towers 17 and 18 with the colors of the Progress Pride flag and installing a signage of the detailings of the important history of Ginger Rogers Beach. We were also doing a beach cleanup there, so I'm so happy to report that was really successful, and thank you for everybody who attended. On a different note, as I've said in previous meetings, and I know Barry as well has come onto these meetings and stated, our number one priority for the office is addressing the homelessness in LA County. The board has received a series of updates on beds available in LA County, treatment beds, psychiatric beds, interim housing, permanent housing, and board and care. An update on the June 6th board meeting, focus on Measure H funded beds. In total, we have 44,000 beds with 13,000 in progress. So that's very exciting for us. These beds are essential to tackling homelessness so that prevention, coordination, and building understanding about the city and county of LA are working together. And you will notice, I'm sure you guys have seen notices throughout LA that we've been partnering with our cities and with the mayor's office on doing some inside safe efforts. We did one in Venice a couple weeks back. Last week, we partnered and housed about over 50 people at the Chatsworth train station, which was incredibly successful. So we're continuing to partner with our agencies, our sheriff's departments, our public works department, and such to address homelessness on the ground. Some additional resources as well. I just want to let everybody be aware of LA County's guaranteed income program. This is expanding to 200 former LA County DCFS foster youth between the ages of 21 to 23. This would be $1,000 per month for 2 years. So this is very exciting. And this application is open from today through July 3rd So I will be I'm happy to share that information further on that application. But if you're interested, please reach out to me. And then lastly, as with other government agencies, it's budget season. So we're working on the budget on our end, and we are open. Our application for discretionary funds is open. It's on our website, that application. Our new website is up and running. So feel free to check it out and apply for discretionary funds. I'm also happy to send you that link as well. That's it for me unless anybody has any questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sophie. And yes, please send us all the information that you touched upon in your report. Thank you. Captain Situ has joined us, and I'd like to call on her to give us a report from the LA County Sheriff's Department. Welcome.
Thank you. And my apology, I was on last week and text Terry, and it wasn't updated on my calendar. So my apology for being late to this. And just have a few things. So drones, thank you all that have provided letters. So today is the first day that I meet with the Civilian Oversight Committee's ad hoc team, where we're going to start discussing policy. The policy that we're sending forward right now, again, is not using drones for crime. It is specifically for search and rescue and for natural disasters. And one thing that's big for, especially in Malibu and our canyons, is during a traffic collision where there's injuries or a fatality, being able to use the drones to take picture rendering of the the collision scene. That way we're not shutting down roads for 8+ hours. We can quickly reopen, and it'll save at least 4 hours. So that's a big win of how we're going to use our drones. I had a great meeting with Jackie Irwin. I'm just really enjoyed working with her. She's come up, she's called me, and some of the assembly bills that are law enforcement focused, she's called me, she's worked with me. And so I'm just so blessed that we have Jackie Irwin in office, that it really helps us get in really important bills that are passing, or at least eyes on them. So I just really want to thank you for that. I met with Julia Brownlee this past week, or this past month, and of course our topic was natural disasters, and so it's great having a great relationship with our representative. So enjoyed that. So June we start the host team starts looking through our canyons and really focusing on getting our unhoused out of the canyon, providing services as we prepare for our intense fire season coming in September, October, November. So that's begun. 4th of July, and I think some of you remember last time with 4th of July, we are changing things up. So now our new policy is any large scale events, we will have different less lethal weapons immediately available, as well as an AR-15. And you will not see the AR-15, the community will not see the AR-15, but we just want to make sure it's available given what happened last year on 4th of July on the East Coast. And we just want to be prepared. So we just want to let you know that that will be happening this 4th of July. We are here to support our community and make sure that it's a safe place for everybody. And thank you to the COG and each individual city, just really reaching out to the Sheriff's Department regarding the 5-year rotation for deputies. I know many of you asked me where we at on this now. And I don't know where we're at on it. I can just tell you that the last time I attended the Civilian Oversight Committee meeting, they did kind of mention this and said that they know that some people are having issues with that, meaning the cities. And then even at the contract cities, Sheriff Luna did talk about it for those of you who've missed it. He says nothing is concrete. It was just a consideration. So it doesn't seem like that is being pursued right now. And really that's because of all of you who stepped up and really kind of talked about how that would be detrimental to our community because our deputies are part of our community. Many of 20. And so just really from the deputies to each one of you, thank you for that. Any questions for Malibu Lost Hills?
Thank you so much. I guess we don't have any questions. Thank you again. Let's move on to our action items. The first action item is our annual budget, fiscal year 2023-2024. Terry, will you present the proposed budget? You're muted. Terry.
Sorry, my dog was barking. I'm pleased to present the budget for fiscal year 23-24. I appreciate working with the Agoura Hills Finance Department and their new staff, who's been very helpful in staying on top of COG things, so I appreciate that. For the upcoming fiscal year, the main projected revenue would be $422,986. You can see that there's no proposal to raise member dues. It continues to be proposed to be $25,000. We have a grant, of course, covering Gabriel's position as the outreach coordinator. And then later on in the agenda, you'll see the MOU for the Metro Board Deputy. And then we have reimbursement from Metro for the work that I do in coordinating Measure M projects with all of the COG cities and the unincorporated area of the county. And then, of course, lastly, we have the $12,000 grant covering the administrative support for homelessness. The COG's expenses continue to, they're on the second page of the budget document. The projected expenses are $419,555. It's expected as you go to the Exhibit A, the last page on the budget, that the most important thing is that we have a balanced budget, and the COG budget is estimated to have a $61,000 reserve at the end of this fiscal year under the current revenue and expense forecast. So the COG is in good shape financially. We continue to work on our Measure M project list, our Measure R and Measure M adjustments this past year. We went through the goals and priorities. The TAC and the governing board continue to have public safety updates from the captain and Chief Smith. Homelessness, Gabriel continues to do a great job in working with our communities. And I think that overall the COG budget is in good shape. There is an estimated increase slightly in the liability insurance that the COG has for officers and directors, but that would likely be just a couple $100. that's been included as an estimate. So be happy to answer any questions. I realize that we have newer governing board members that have just joined the COG in the past year or two, and so I just want to make sure that everything is transparent for everyone. I know it's not like doing a city budget, which is much more complicated, but if you have any questions or if you'd like me to explain anything additionally, I'm happy to do that.
Thank you so much, Terry. Do we have any questions for Terry or comments? Okay, I'd like to make a comment. I think it would be useful moving forward to have maybe the last 2 years budget for reference included in the new fiscal year's budgets. So, side by side, so we can see the progression of cost and where we're going with our budget and how our fund balance changes from year to year. Since, most of us are new on the governing board, I think it would be helpful. And I'd like to propose that the governing board considers raising the COG's legal counsel's budget. I feel $2,500 is a little light. And I'd like to get your input on that. What do you think? Governing board.
Hi. Yeah, that would be, I agree, Eniko. I'm a lawyer, so I know what they charge. And, Larry Weiner has been our counsel for so long, and he's terrific, but it is a little light. We need to shift some more funds into that budget, because we can go through that very quickly. Let us hope we don't have, need for Larry's services very often, which we haven't, but just in case, so we don't need to do that at the last minute. I agree.
What would you prefer?
Well, I was thinking doubling it to $5,000.
That's what I was thinking too. We could double it.
That's a motion. I'll second it.
I moved to double our current. Thanks, Paul. I'll backtrack and say I moved to double our budgeted attorney service line item.
Thank you. And other than that, we all agree that the budget looks good and we are ready to adopt the budget. Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So how should we do this, Terry? Should we have two motions, one for the budget and one for the change in guideline?
I think that just a motion to approve the budget with the increased allocation from $2,500 to $5,000 for the our legal counsel.
Okay, Kelly, is this your motion?
Yes.
Thank you.
I accept the change.
Thank you, Paul. Will the executive director call the roll?
Paul Grisanti,
Yes.
Kelly Honig,
Yes.
Penny Sylvester,
Yes.
President Gold.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously 4-0.
Thank you. Now I noticed that Drew Smith from our LA County Fire Department, Chief Smith is on with us now. Can we jump and check in with him, see if he has something important to share? If you all agree. Welcome, Drew.
Well, thank you. I apologize for I was here, but had to handle some fire business, but your fire family is doing great. I know, as we heard Captain C2 talk, we're in lockstep with them. We're looking forward to summer. We know we have a lot of summer activities, so all the coordination with routine daily business as compared to planned events, as compared to emergencies, are communicated daily. And if we have something that needs focused attention, we get together to work on what we're going to do in preparation and planning. But other than that, everything is going good. I appreciate all the positive feedback we're getting from the COG, the community really on the defensible space inspection. So those are coming along good. We're at 79% on those, and we've had great compliance. We appreciate the community interaction and the endeavor of their part to maintain that the defensible space requirements is mandated. And with that, is there any questions for me?
I don't see any hands. So no questions. Thank you so much.
Actually, I do, Eniko, I have one question for Chief Smith.
Yes, ma'am.
So Drew, you know, we got a lot of rain, there's a lot of growth. So what, can you give us just a synopsis of what you guys are thinking, you know, as we go into the very hot months, although it has been freezing. So
yeah, welcome to Portland. Yeah. So we have been favored with 200% of normal in our rainfall.
Mm-hmm.
Which is very good for us as we transition into summer, but we know when fall comes, those are our high risk days, regardless of how many inches of rain we get into seasonal drought. But one thing that this rainfall does do is it moistens our live fuel, so they stay lush and green for longer, so it actually shortens our prime fire season. We've had years in the past we've been in drought, 3 inches of rain for the year, 5 inches of rain, so those wildland fuels are drier than normal. And this year they're starting out very wet, so we don't have the probability on routine days for large fire growth or aggressive fires like we would have in our drought years. But for perspective, as we get into the fall, those soil moistures dry up, our live fuel moistures dry up because of the soil moistures aren't there. And we do have within Los Angeles County and adjoining counties, Ventura and Orange, large fire growth days in the fall. The most recent one, we were 200% of normal, is when we had the Thomas fire that impacted Ventura County and Santa Barbara County. We had a significant fire siege, and I'm going to date myself back a little bit, in 93, the fire siege in 93, where the 4 counties were on fire from San Luis Obispo to Orange to Los Angeles and Ventura. So we know that we have those vulnerabilities. We look at a daily risk analysis every day to see what our vulnerability is. So, but going into this season, to make your short answer longer, we are favored right now with the live fuel moistures that it's lush and green. But as we target into the 3rd week of August is when I'm predicting that we have a different set of vulnerabilities on routine days. But we will keep you posted if there's anything to that or we have anything. Yes.
Thank you, Drew.
You bet.
I have a question for Chief Smith too. Have you started the inspections in Agoura Hills, the home hardening? Because I haven't seen anything happening yet.
Yeah, so our inland areas started in May 1st. So from May 1st through June, we transitioned from the inland communities to the coastal communities. So those defensible space inspections started May 1st for Agoura Hills, Hidden Hills, Calabasas, Westlake Village, and unincorporated.
Okay, thank you. Chief Smith, if you don't have any more questions, no, then thank you so much for joining us, and we'll resume our action items.
Thank you for the time.
So we're on to item number 7B, letter of opposition to depopulate the Los Angeles County jails. The letter can be found on page 34 of our agenda. And maybe I would make a comment because it's basically not necessarily a letter of opposition. What it is we're asking the supervisor to include all stakeholders in this decision. So so cities and local officials included, and that's what we're asking to be part of this decision-making process with this letter. So are there any questions about this letter? Penny?
Hi, Eniko. First of all, there's a typo in the letter on page 34. In the first paragraph, after Dear Supervisor Horvath, it says willingness to support putting a joint motion to depopulate and Los Angeles County jails. I don't think the and belongs in there. It should just be depopulate Los Angeles County jails. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Thank you for catching that.
Thank you. And secondly, unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to discuss this yet with my counsel. So we may be completely in accord with you, but I'm going to have to abstain until I have the clearance to vote either way. Okay? Thank you.
Okay. Are there any more comments or questions about this letter?
No, we're fine with it in Westlake.
Paul?
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, then, and did you receive any comments from Calabasas, Terry?
No.
Okay. So can I get a motion to approve the letter?
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Paul. Terry, can you please call the roll?
Kelly Honig,
Aye.
Paul Grisanti,
Yes.
Penny Sylvester,
Abstain.
President Gold.
Aye.
So motion carries 3-0 with 1 abstention.
Thank you. Our next agenda item is the contract extension for Gabriel. Terry, would you please present the report?
Yes, happy to. It's been my pleasure to work with Gabriel the past 3 years. I think he's done an excellent job as our outreach coordinator in working within all of the COG communities to try and get people that want service, the resources that they need, in interacting with LASA and the other nonprofits that serve our area. So Gabriel's contract is up for renewal or extension, and it's presented in the agenda along with it's a 1-year extension, along with the proposed compensation to be effective July 1st, which I negotiated with the county already in the COG statement of work. So Gabriel was given an increase for his monthly fee, and also a $100 increase from $400 to $500 for his car, taking into consideration the amount of driving that he does and the way gas has been for the past year. So that's proposed. Happy to answer any questions, and just let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Terry. Do we have any questions for Terry?
No, I'm sorry, did someone? No, I wouldn't, Gabriel's essential and amazing. So I would move that we approve Gabriel's contract as presented by Terry.
And Penny Sylvester seconds.
Thank you. Would the executive director call the roll?
Paul Grisanti,
Yes.
Kelly Honig,
Yes.
Penny Sylvester,
Yes.
President Gold.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you, Gabriel, for everything that you do.
Yeah, thank you, Gabriel.
Thank you, you guys. I love working with you.
Okay. Now on to our next item, which is the COG Metro Memorandum of Understanding for Board Deputy and contract between the COG and Vivian Rescalvo, Metro Board Deputy, to Ara Nayarian. Terry, please present the report.
Happy to. In 2015, Ara Nayarian's Metro Board Deputy was retiring from Metro. And as all of you know, Metro is a PERS agency, and therefore she could not be compensated. Originally, the plan was to have our Nigerian's city, Glendale, provide facilitate her contract. However, because Glendale is also a PERS city, a member of PERS, then that didn't work at the time. And so the COG entered into a MOU with Metro where the COG would be reimbursed for the compensation for the Metro Board Deputy, taking a 4% administrative fee for facilitating the contract. And so we've been doing that since 2015 with Maureen. This year, Maureen is not only retired from Metro, but she's retiring from her position as the board deputy. So Vivian Rescalvo, who is a former actually board deputy to Supervisor Yaroslavsky back in the day, and then went to work for Metro, and then retired from Metro, and has worked with Maureen for the past year, helping her since Ara Nigerian was serving as board chair. Vivian is taking over, and the two contracts that are on the agenda for this item. One is our MOU with Metro, and the other one is our contract with Vivian. That's obviously a separate document, and that the contract with Vivian was prepared by Larry Weiner, and the MOU was prepared by Metro. So both of those, I can get into the real details if you'd like, as far as the compensation, but the COG will receive almost $6,000 in compensation for facilitating the agreement. And basically, just again, so you know, Vivian works independently. She doesn't really work for the COG. She works independently for board member Nigerian. However, I have a close working relationship with our Nigerian's board deputy, with Maureen, and now with Vivian. I'm expecting that to continue to be a smooth transition in supporting the needs that the COG has at Metro. So we're fortunate. We have a very good board member with Ara, and we also have Supervisor Horvath, who sits on the Metro board. So that gives us two strong votes.
Thank you so much, Terry. Are there any questions for Terry regarding these two contracts? Nope. Okay. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Penny Sylvester seconds.
Thank you. Will the executive director call the roll?
Paul Grisanti,
Yes.
Kelly Honig,
Yes.
Penny Sylvester,
Yes.
President Gold.
Yes. Our next item. Oh, sorry. Go
That's
ahead.
okay.
Motion carries unanimously. Okay, so we're on to our next item, letter of opposition to Senate Bill 423. Terry, will you please present the
Yes,
report?
this one's for you, Nancy. So the letter of opposition to SB 423 is attached. Senator Weiner is back with another bill that would expand and extend SB 35, which the COG opposed several years ago, and extend the sunset. And it already did pass the state Senate, and we do appreciate Senator Allen not voting on that. and now it goes to the assembly. So the letter is to Assembly Member Irwin, since she would be our assembly member voting on the matter. Happy to answer any questions, or I should say Jeff should.
Yeah, Jeff had to jump off. But thank you so much, Terry. Do we have any questions or comments? Can I get a motion?
Penny Sylvester makes a motion to approve the letter.
Thank you.
Second.
Will the executive director call the roll?
Paul Grisanti.
Yes. Yes.
Kelly Honig.
Yes.
Penny Sylvester.
Yes.
President Gold.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0 unanimously.
Thank you. And our final action item of the day is a request to co-sign a letter requesting 50 million in funding for fiscal year 2023-2024 for the state budget for the Metropolitan Water District needed water projects. Will Terry please give us a report?
Yes, this was kind of a last minute request, but we were able to accommodate it because of the importance for our region. The state budget included 50 million last year for Metropolitan Water District of Southern California, of which Three Valleys is Las Virgenes is a member, and District 29 of LA County also benefits. The most important project, obviously this is a very wide-ranging project as far as the state water funds and the Southern California Water District, but there's a big project, the Sepulveda Canyon Venice pump stations, that will construct 2 new stations to provide water for Metropolitan and the county and Las Virgenes. So it's obviously very important. This has no fiscal impact on the COG as far as we're not participating financially. We've just been asked to join with a number of other agencies and water partners to be a co-signer on the letter. And I don't know if Paul.
Yeah, Terry, I have a question. Is this to replace existing pump stations, or what are we doing here? What are we know?
It's my understanding to the information that I received was to construct 2 new pump stations. So the way I understand it, they're not taking anything offline, but they're adding 2 new stations.
Okay.
Can I add to that? Is Jeremy still on the line?
He said he had to step away
Okay.
for his
All right. So,
his meeting.
Paul, just to explain a little bit more, we don't get any water from the State Water Project currently. All our water comes from Northern California. So this would connect us to the State Water Project as well. So we would have a second source of water, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, do we have any more questions or comments? If we don't, can I get a motion?
Penny Sylvester moves to approve sending this letter.
Second.
Will the executive director call the roll?
Paul Grisanti,
Yes.
Kelly Honig,
Yes.
Penny Sylvester,
Yes.
President Gold.
Yes. And that concludes our action items for the day. On to our next item, which is general comments and requests for future agenda items. Any requests? No. I'd like to take this opportunity to very briefly check in with our city managers, if they have any newsworthy information to share with the COG. Agoura Hills, maybe? Do you guys have something newsworthy?
Other than our summer events, like everybody's starting, and just CERT classes with the fire department are starting up. We'll be hosting those. But other than that, I'll so I can get everybody moving along, I'll defer over to the council. Penny, if you have anything else to add.
Thank you.
No, nothing to report. I'm just sitting here recovering from knee replacement. So if I grimace a little bit, that's why.
Anybody else?
I can give a quick update. Just two things from Hidden Hills. We are out to bid on our Measure R&M Long Valley Interchange project. It's a long time coming, and we're very excited about that project. It helps with some of the traffic at the Valley Circle entrance. If you've ever been stuck in that, you'll understand. And also, we're sad to report that one of our staff members, Chantal Luman, that some of you have met, has accepted a new position with the city of Camarillo. As there's really only 4 full-time people here and a couple of contract staff, it's a big loss for us. We're hoping to start recruitment to replace that position very soon. So if any of you know anyone that's interested or would like to get in to local government, please pass my name along or give me a holler, and I'll talk to you about the position. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Rob, Kindon, Steve.
Yeah, President Gold, and everybody, great to see you this morning. Just a quick couple updates from Westlake Village, and we had a budget meeting last week with the city council and approved our new fiscal year budget. That's always a big milestone. I know every city's working on that. And we also approved comprehensive development impact fees for citywide new development, residential and commercial. So that's a big deal for our city. Also, our summer concerts and 4th of July events are underway. So that's huge as well. And then other big news for us, at least, following on from Kerry, we also are losing an individual, Philippe Eskandar. He's our deputy city manager, has been part of our leadership team here for the last few years, and just a really great guy and contributor to our city. And he's taken a city manager position with San Marino in the center of Los Angeles County. So we wish him the very, very best. And we are having some drinks with him next week, Monday, actually at 14 Cannons at 5 o'clock, 5 to 7. So if anyone wants to drop by next Monday, please do so. And Kelly, if you have anything to add.
I do not. It's we're in full. Well, I do actually. I'm talking. So we're in full. We're in full. Entertainment season in Westlake. Our concert schedule's out. We're back to normal. In fact, we've added one. So you all are invited always to our series of concerts. We have one Friday, don't we, Rob?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Beatles tribute band. So it'll be really fun here at Civic Center.
Yeah. So, looking forward to 4th of July. We always have our annual parade for over, 50 plus years. If Jackie's available, Nancy, we can, give her the schedule. Maybe she can, or you're always invited as well. She can attend, or come for a few minutes if she's free. So that's it. Westlake's good. Thank you.
Thank you. Calabasas, Malibu.
Yeah, thank you, President Gold. Just a couple things. Similar to a couple of the other cities, we had a departure with Robert Yalda, our Public Works Director, retiring in May. 30 years with the city, so that's a lot of institutional memory and experience that we're sad to see leave. We do have an interim director right now, Phil Lansafame from the city of Glendale, retired from the city of Glendale, is working for us, and we're starting the recruitment for the Public Works Director. Other than that, President, I just wanted to real quickly give a shout out to our legislative support that we have from Jeff and Nancy and Davis, Sophia and Barry. They're excellent to work with, and we appreciate just all that they do to help each of our cities. So thank you to that group.
Thank you. Steve?
Thank you, President Gold. Yeah, and Rob, sorry to hear that you're using Philippe. I know he's been a great help and asset. And also congratulations to him. He'll make an excellent city manager. Be happy to join you for drinks, but I don't think Paul will excuse me from next Monday's city council meeting, where we'll be considering our budget. So we're moving along there well on that. I also wanted to just thank Nancy and Assemblymember Irwin's office for your continued support on AB 1500, which would extend the property tax exemptions for homes that were damaged or destroyed in the Woolsey fire for additional 3 years. So that appears to be moving forward very well. And also I want to just echo and thank Captain C2 and Chief Smith for all their work and preparation. Of course, in Malibu, we're always, you know, a little nervous as we head into the summer months. Of course, we've got a lot coming up with the beach traffic. I think I saw an article this week that named PCH as one of the top destination drives this summer. Of course, that's, you know, some marketing travel writer coming up with that, but we do expect to see a lot of people on the road at our beautiful beaches. And then just, unfortunately, this event already passed, but I just wanted to note that we had a very successful Public Safety Expo last weekend, thanks to our Public Safety Department and again to Fire Department and Lost Hills Malibu Station for their support there. We had a really good event and a really good turnout. So I'll turn it over to Paul if he has anything else to add, and thank you for the opportunity to get.
Fine job, Steve. I just hope everybody is safe over the 4th of July weekend, and I hope that we have a non-entity as a fire season. I've got all my fingers crossed, and it's making it difficult to count on my fingers. So thank you.
Thank you all. Now we're moving on to our last item on our agenda, which is the closed session. The governing board will go into closed session pursuant the government code section 549576 to discuss the executive director's annual performance evaluation. Following the closed session, the governing board will reconvene the COG meeting to make any announcement resulting from the closed session. So Terry, I think you're going to break us out into a separate room.
Just bear with me for a second.
Thank you so much.